Baby, yeah, you know I'm in my body today. Hit the bitch, told her come through on a Saturday. Run it up, baby, yeah, the faster way. Greatness come with patience, so you know that I had to wait. Ooh, baby, yeah, you know what you do to me. And you know.
So what's up, guys? So this is not me going back on my word on me thinking that TUA will fail. This is just simply a fantasy video, and just because of that reason, I'm gonna have to say TUA is definitely a waiver wire pickup for this week. Honestly, he goes against the Los Angeles Chargers. He had a pretty high scoring week, and I buy it. I buy his consistency. I really do. I feel like that is a good. I feel like 30 points is a really good window for him in PPR. I feel like if you have a guy on a bye, if your starter's on a bye, you really should consider starting TUA. And I feel like he's a solid starter in fantasy right now. He's a solid QB1. Now he's not going to give you that rushing upside at first and maybe around the first half with that Fitzpatrick really gave you. But I feel like as the game goes on, he really does scramble a little bit more. He does look a little more athletic than what I thought he would be, but I still don't believe that he's going to be overall successful or what these other guys are doing at quarterback in the rookie class. But at the end of the day, against Los Angeles for this week, I'm going to have to say TUA's a definite start, and here's why. So, TUA honestly had a high completion percentage. He targeted Preston Williams a ton. He targeted Devontae Parker a ton. He's making Devontae Parker look really good. And another reason is that his line is performing really well. And I feel like that's enabling him to look a lot better than what he actually is. And that's enabling him to get the ball out and get a lot more completions. Also, Brian Flores is really leaning on TUA a lot. Like, in certain games, he leans on TUA and he lets him perform, and I really like that. So, from a fantasy outlook, I really feel like they're going to lean on TUA this week, especially against the Chargers. Also, the Dolphins' defense is really, really good. That's probably the most underrated part about the Dolphins is their defense and their head coach. Brian Flores is a former Patriots defensive coordinator. The guy gets it done, and he's really bringing that Patriots elite defense, and I really love that about Brian Flores. I really feel like Brian Flores is going to take this team to the next step. So because of that, and because of their strong suit in defense, it really allows them to really be flexible with TUA and let TUA almost go off the leash a little bit. And I'm actually surprised that TUA is not turning the ball over as much, because I really did expect TUA to turn the ball over a lot. But at the end of the day, I still don't think that TUA is going to be super successful, just because there's no talent with TUA that really jumps off the board. He's really just your average starter. I really just think that he'll end up being your average starter in the NFL. You could say honestly, my comp for him is an old Drew Brees. I feel like he plays like Drew Brees, but just maybe a little bit more mobile, which is not a good thing. I'm not very high on Drew Brees, never have been. But from a fantasy outlook, I really feel like him against the Chargers is going to really do a lot of damage. And another thing, the Chargers they've had a lot of shootouts over the past couple weeks, and I really feel comfortable with starting TUA, especially in this game, because I feel like I get the vibe that this is going to be a shootout. Yes, the Dolphins can provide a lot of stops, which will also be beneficial to TUA, but I feel like Justin Herbert is good enough to where he's going to make this game really competitive, and they're going to have to keep passing with TUA. It's not going to be a blowout, and that's a really good thing, because if it was a blowout, and with these you have to really predict the game script, and I really think that they're going to be passing the whole game, because this is going to be a close game. I still have the Dolphins winning because it's the Chargers, but you have to predict the game script with a lot of these games and a lot of these quarterbacks, because sometimes they get up by so much that you really can't really predict on how much they're going to pass the ball late game situations, because all they have to do is just really run the clock out and just hammer the run, honestly. And that's what a lot of teams like to do. That's why a lot of QBs on really good teams suffer sometimes, unless you're like Patrick Mahomes or like the key strength of that team. But there are things that you can say, or things that you could predict with the game script, and things like that really matter, especially with Tua, because I feel like Tua is going to be in the type of Ryan Tannehill tier of like really efficient. And honestly, that might be a comp for Tua, low key. Ryan Tannehill, a super efficient quarterback that doesn't really have high volume, but he's going to get it done. He's going to give you like a touchdown or two per game, and he's also going to give you some rushing upside. So that might be the comp for Tua. I see Tua as maybe a Ryan Tannehill type guy, and I really like that about him, because, hey, I said if he were to prove me wrong, it would be by his attitude and the team around him. And what is he doing? I mean, it's honestly hard to tell after 2 games, but I really feel confident that he's just going to be a regular starter. I still don't think that he'll succeed like Herbert or Burrow will be, but at the end of the day, it's just Tua against the Chargers. He's going to be really productive for you. I feel like you guys have to pick him up in the waiver wire, and it's going to be a really essential part of your lineup this coming week, especially if you have a quarterback on bye. So yeah, it's pretty much going to wrap it up. What do you guys think about Tua? I honestly don't really know too much on how I feel like he's going to perform in a late game situation. I haven't seen him be too clutch in the NFL. He's been clutch in college, but I really don't feel like he's going to be that same way. But we'll just have to find out. I feel like he's a really level-headed guy, and in the fantasy space, he's going to be a monster come down the seam. He's especially going to be a Tannehill type guy, like I said. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Baby, yeah, you know I'm in my bag today. Hit the bitch, told her come through on a Saturday. Run it up, baby, yeah, the fast way. Greatness come with patience, so you know that I had to wait. Ooh, baby, yeah, you know what you do to me. And you know, bitch, I ain't with that foolery. Team full of winners, so you gon' lose to me. Yeah, lose to me. I'm in the store, I'm working, and bitch, I am back in my Birkin. All the gas, I'm swerving, and these people be plotting and murking.